Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News. And just a couple of weeks ago, when we saw Zellsis joining the Sentinels team ahead of the last chance qualifier, one of the key questions was, where is Zombs going to go? He revealed about a week or so ago that he is still intending to compete, but wants to wait for a roster and a good opportunity to come along. Could there be a swap going on at Sentinels, with Zellsis coming one way and Zombs going the other way, back to version 1? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. Thanks very much indeed for doing that one. Plenty of interesting things actually to discuss today. Firstly, this from Finest Esports letting Yassine go. The rumour is that Yassine is going to go to Guild to replace Russ, so that's the present rumour over there. Also, further rumours with regard to the last chance qualifier in EMEA that begins shortly after the North American one, I believe. I think that, of course, the NA one starts tomorrow on the Thursday, and then the EU one, I believe, starts at the end of the weekend. But this is also interesting to mention because plenty of the guys on M3C, formerly Gambit, of course, Chronicle, Nats, Redgar, these type of guys. We've got JD tweeting the same eyes emoji, seemingly at basically the same time that the rest of the guys are doing. Rumour has it that JD will be joining that team as well for the LCQ. So the roster lock, I'm guessing, is either already happens and things are yet to be announced, or like it's just about to happen really, effectively going into the last chance qualifier. So, of course, from Europe, FPX and Fnatic, the two teams that qualified automatically to champions. There'll be one other team that makes it. Could it be M3C? Because there's been so many teams so far this season that did great things last year and then failed to replicate them, right? Ascend, M3C, kind of in a similar situation, but of course they've had to deal with their own host of issues outside of the game. This is also from Fnatic because, of course, they are qualified for the World Championship. We've seen the likes of Sentinels recently sign a fair few strategic coaches, analysts, like bringing extra help into the team. Fnatic apparently are looking to do the same thing. Their head coach Mini tweets this out, looking for some help probing for champions, wants some experience with strategy creation, anti-stratting, working with the team at VRL plus level. So if you guys are potentially interested, get involved, but also just interesting to see that more teams are looking for further help going into champions. And also it's just a nice nod really to Riot to say, look, we're here, we mean business, we're hiring all these additional people to try and actually show that we want to win, when they are currently considering those franchising applications. Now this also, speaking of those franchise applications, we looked the other day at a list of about 18 to 20 teams that are on the shortlist in Europe for potentially getting into the EMEA kind of regional franchise partnership league for next season. We believe 10, maybe 12 teams in each partnership league around the world, in the Americas, of course, in Europe, and also in Asia Pacific. Now, there was noted in one of these articles, like there was an unidentified football team looking to get involved. Apparently, that football team is actually AS Monaco, so kind of interesting, right, that teams like this are looking to get involved. We've seen it, right, with esports investments from the like of PSG and I think even Man City and other teams. I think there's plenty more that I'm not remembering that have tried to get involved in the esports space, and maybe AS Monaco are looking to, well, get involved in Valorant as well, which is kind of interesting. Now, on the negative side of the whole partnership stuff, this I thought was kind of interesting from Bo, mentioning that some organizations are using the fact that there's not really any info about tier 2 to not pay any players for the next 3 or 4 months, right? So I think a lot of tier 2 organizations are kind of concerned about what exactly is happening next year with tier 2. What is the support going to be? Now, I can understand the concern from some organizations, but I think some orgs probably know that it's going to be okay, right? It's not just going to completely neglect the tier 2 scene despite creating the partnership league up top, and there is still going to be something to play for and some reason to actually invest into teams at that level by some organizations. But I think what a lot of them are doing, and maybe understandable from a business perspective, but like it's kind of suspect in a way, especially if they plan to keep the players they currently have signed around. But what they can kind of do is say, well, we're not sure, we're just going to dip out of here and kind of release our entire team and release them into the ether to do nothing and not get signed, because no one's going to sign them for the next months before everything is confirmed. And then when everything is okay, then they can come back in and say, okay, yeah, we want to pick you guys up again, saving themselves several months of salary. This was a tactic that some teams actually used, I think, in the Call of Duty League, where on the off season they would release their entire team, wait about 4 months or so for the season to begin again, then pick that same team up again, and then not have to pay them for those few months, of course, hoping that those guys don't get picked up elsewhere. So kind of a messy situation, but I mean, yeah, still one idea to keep your eyes on going forwards. This also that DRX are looking for a new academy team, so lots of news in terms of roster stuff around the world. These are some of the players that might well be getting involved. Yeah, DRX also showing, formerly Vision Strikers, that they also mean business here, come into the partnership league type discussion. This also, before we talk about the Zombs stuff, just a crazy esports story that the CEO of Bren Esports, Bernard Bren Chong, has been alleged involvement in some sort of smuggling operation, which has been foiled, and the Manila court has apparently ordered his arrest for a $32 million smuggling thing. Like, I mean, yeah, is it kind of Jake Lucky points out right here. So I don't know what's going on, man. Like, what is esports even made of? I think they have both a male and a female Valorant team, so it's kind of an absolute mess. Now, he does a video here with Jake Lucky, and he basically says, look, these allegations are false. I hope that the truth will prevail. People who know me know that I'm not that type of guy. Like, you know, that's not my character, this type of stuff, which is probably fair enough, but it's not like he's given any, you know, clear evidence as to why, like, he's not involved in this. And of course, the Manila, like, well, government or whatever, probably have a reason for doing this. Whether it's legitimate or not, I don't know. What the case will be as a result of this, who knows? But I just had to mention it because it's just more mad stuff that goes on in esports at every single day at this point. But hopefully the truth will prevail at some point, whatever side that ends up landing on. Let's talk about this version 1 situation then. So Immy, he likes to, well, say a fair few things on Twitter from time to time, the head coach for the version 1 team. Now, of course, like, version 1, interesting spot for them because they looked so good early on in Valorant. They kind of fell off a fair bit, still looks kind of good at times, looked like they were okay this year back in stage 1, and then, yeah, didn't have the greatest stage 2 at all, didn't get enough points this season to even qualify for the last chance qualifier, so their season is effectively done. They are holding out hope as an organization, version 1, that they can still get in next season to the Partnership League. Is that likely? I don't really know, but we believe they are at least on the short list of teams in conversation to get into the Partnership League with Valorant in the Americas. Now, of course, look, they lost one of their key players the other day in Zellsis, going to Sentinels for the LCQ. They have therefore needed some sort of replacement, and their replacement they tried out yesterday was none other than Sentinels Zombs subbing in for the team. Now, Zombs did say very recently on stream that he does plan to compete again at some point, but he wants a team that effectively is going to stand by him, is going to be pretty good. But this does seem like a reasonable option for Zombs, right? So subbing in for this team for now. I guess he's subbing in technically for the tournament that they played yesterday. But of course, if he's doing this, this could potentially become a long-term arrangement. Zombs, if he does want to still compete, an organization like version 1 with a free place on offer could end up being pretty ideal for him. So yeah, Zombs, FE's, Penny, Whippy, and Xander, of course, the present team of 5 that they were running with last night, and that they actually played a game against TSM in one of these kind of Mickey Mouse online leagues. TSM come out on top. We'll see that here in a second. 2-0 versus version 1. Subrosa says 2-0 versus version 1 as well. So TSM and version 1 teams in a similar boat. Not in the LCQ, hoping to get next season into the Partnership League, but Zombs has spied an opportunity here, wanting to compete, maybe wanting to kind of prove his former teammates wrong in a sense that dropping him was a bad idea, and also wanting to maybe get his foot in the door of an organization that might get involved next season, right? A guy like Zombs, with the, you know, pedigree that he has and the name value that he has and the personality and stuff, he probably wouldn't struggle too hard if he does want to get a team next season actually in the franchise league regardless. But version 1, if they do get in, he could be setting himself up nicely.
Team. Oh, they're in a custom. Oh, wait. Wait. I just leave.
Xander now gets himself the operator.
This is a Zombs fan page, actually. Zombs was right, ShahZaM was wrong. Tell me otherwise, Jared was right. Imagine Sentinels were scrimming, bro. They would have won, bro.
He could just basically take long for free. They know that.
Look at him, bro. Look at him. Post scrim, look at him.
That he goes into, he should win it.
For trying to get rid of guns, but they only have classics and a headhunter. But there we go. Corey's able
Zombs 1v5.
He's blind and he's about to get knifed. No way. Subrosa the second knife in 2 games in MCT Premier.
Yeah, he's not even cool, bro.
The force
Come on, yeah, he's not even cool, bro. He's actually not even cool, bro.
So a couple of funny clips there, right, when Zellsis actually leaked this accidentally, and then of course it wasn't really leaked initially by him. Well, it was leaked initially by him, but it wasn't too long after they were doing their practice where this game was officially streamed. And of course, Shanks was watching it, right, and reacting to some situations where Subrosa got the knife kill on Zombs, and yeah, it wasn't too pretty, right, at the end of the day. But yeah, 2-0 loss for version 1 here. So yeah, Zombs' team, despite actually top fragging this game, well, not really top fragging, but Zombs did have practically the joint highest ACS in the lobby, the highest cast rate, at least on his individual team, apart from Xander, actually. So not exactly sure how this is meant to be ranked, because, I mean, yeah, the ACS is not exactly perfect, but still, Zombs is top of the list for some reason on the left-hand side, and given his role in the team, that is an impressive performance. He was doing rather well on Pearl, especially the first map they played of this series. Corey plus 10, yeah, 7, usually the star player, didn't have to do that much this series on the Chamber, but yeah, Pearl was 13 to 10 for TSM. Zombs was pretty good this map. He he ends up dropping a 19 and 19 performance there on the Brimstone, and then on Haven it goes 17 and 16 on the Omen, but ends up getting a 13 to 11 loss. So kind of interesting stuff. Not a massively important match, I think, in the MCT Premiership, because I think both of these teams kind of already were in a good position to qualify for the playoffs. I'm not exactly sure how this format works right here, but as you can see, version 1 are 1 and 2. But if I go through to the playoffs, we can already see that version 1 TSM is already a game scheduled in. So I think both of these teams are probably through to the next stage anyway, so not a massively important game, but it's still kind of interesting to see how TSM are getting on, of course, with their roster, and also version 1 with what could be a new version of their team as well, with Zombs now in the roster, as Imi goes on to say. Can't believe how mad people are getting about this tourney. No one has scrimmed for months. Chill out, leave my players alone. So apparently people were covering their necks saying here, like, okay, you guys have got to do better. But of course, realistically, none of these guys have done too much scrimming because there's kind of been nothing to play for. But after Champions, all of a sudden, once again, there will be third-party tournaments going on where these guys can get involved in. But by that time, the organization probably will know whether they're actually going to get into franchising, right? If they are, maybe Zombs can come along for the party. Or if version 1 don't get involved, then these Zombs can say, well, look, I was playing with this team for a little bit, subbed in a little bit, like, prove that I still want to compete, and then get a spot on another team potentially. So who knows how long term this is actually going to be. But just the fact that Zombs was subbing in here shows some intent, I think, for Zombs still to compete. And obviously we're still doing a pretty good job in that performance, right? No longer, of course, on the Sentinels roster. So definitely intrigued to your thoughts and all that stuff in the comment section below. What does the future hold for Zombs? Will he stay on version 1? I am kind of thinking that version 1 are very much a borderline team to get into franchising. I kind of would say they probably won't, right, based on the teams that should get in theoretically. And then Zombs will have to come out and prove his worth to the teams that do get in, and well, hopefully one of them will make a roster change in his favor, because there are going to be many big name free agent players out there, right? If version 1 don't get in, a guy like Xander now all of a sudden is on the market. Teams might want to pick him up instead. So yes, lots to discuss, I'm sure, over the coming days and weeks. But tomorrow, on the 4th of August, that's when officially Shroud and the Sentinels guys return to professional play. So I'm sure the viewership is going to be pretty spectacular this one. The Guard versus Sentinels is day 1, I'm guessing it must be, of the tournament, and it's only a matter of time until we get to find out how they are going to get on. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button, tell us on YouTube, God, this is a good video. I just like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you once again, as always, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.